Hello, my beautiful, gorgeous lovers. Hello from Bali, which is where I'm at currently in the world, my global citizen journey. You can see, some of you have seen maybe the epic, beautiful space that I'm in. And I was just talking to a client and was diving into some things, and this concept came up that was really powerful for me years ago as I really understood this. And so I thought I'd share, because how would you actually be experiencing your life? There's my author. How would you be experiencing your life if you knew that you could never, ever make a mistake? How would you experience life if you knew that you could never, ever make a mistake? That nothing was ever wrong? That there was no possible way any choice that you made could be wrong? So much of us are always like so worried about, well, if I do this, then da-da-da, and if I do this, and which one's right? And then we tend to think that our lives have been, we've made wrong decisions. We're holding that. Actually, let's get clear on what actually is happening when you do that, is that you're holding a shame, blame energy in your system. Now, shame is the lowest vibrating energy that exists. So if you're thinking about anything in your past and feeling that it was wrong, or there's judgment on it, or you shame it, or you blame it, or you see it out of anything other than love and light, out of gratitude and appreciation, guess what, my friends? Guess what? You're actually blocking manifesting and receiving everything you desire. Without even consciously being aware of it, what you're vibrating is that those things were wrong, and you're wrong, you're not enough, you're not worthy, and there's an energy, a vibration for that space in your life, as well as awareness and a focused energy and attraction towards those things that is then actually just holding you in a place of saying, I'm not worthy of more joy, more bliss, more awesomeness, more prosperity, more love, more abundance, more of all these things, because I actually am not enough, and there's proof. And you're holding that in yourselves. So that's just a little idea or understanding of maybe what's happening if you haven't come into healing with everything that you've experienced and what there still is inside you that gets to be healed and loved. Now, I'm going to go off a little bit here in that understanding creates forgiveness. So the moment you can actually tune into those things and look at it through the eyes of understanding, the eyes of love, hear it out of love, be able to communicate with your little boy or girl inside to actually see what was really happening going on, which there's several things I can dive into for those processes and I teach. Yet what I want to bring you back to is when you recognize and you know that every single thing that has ever happened to you, everything that is happening to you, everything that's in your environment in front of you is for your greatest and highest good in life. It's like a natural path of ascension and evolution. Okay, now you can decide how fast or slow you go and how easy or hard you make it, because you create your own suffering and your own sacrifice. So you can make it easy and graceful by allowing and opening to what is in front of you and what wants to be seen and heard and what's showing up that's the pain. Because remember, pain is a part of our process. Suffering is a choice. Pain is just another emotion, just like sadness or anger or happiness or joy. Pain is one of our greatest emotions to say, ooh, something does not feel good. Something is not in alignment. And what is that? What's the feedback here that's telling me what's not working for me or in my life that allows me to then shift and adjust, to learn, to grow, to evolve, to expand, and to open to our heart, to consciously clear stories, patterns, attachments, expectations, anything that is not in our highest vibration of divinity, anything that is not in our highest light. So as we allow the pain to be just another feedback, when we're so open to, what is this? And going through those processes, which again, I'm happy to share with you where you can find more on that. My Freedom audios dive into that. Then what happens is we move through it quickly. We move through it easily. So again, it can be as easy or as hard as you make it based on what you're allowing and you're opening to. So I want to bring it back to what I started this with is, what if you knew you could never make a mistake? What if you knew everything that you chose was always perfect for you? Because whatever you chose and whatever you're choosing is for your perfect experience. You're perfectly choosing and being in whatever you're in. You're perfectly experiencing it. And that thing, even if you're like, oh, well, if I would have chose this, then, maybe this wouldn't happen. Well, guess what? You were meant to choose this so that this actually happened, so that you could see and learn and evolve and grow from it. And so it's impossible, my friends. It's impossible for you to make a wrong decision. It's impossible for you to make a mistake. Everything is for your highest and greatest good. Everything. And what I love is I began to learn to follow the energy of life to receive. I knew I actually never had to make a decision. Now, how cool is that? So I'll give you guys an example. And this is what I love. When you become so present with yourself, with what you are feeling and thinking, and again, alchemizing everything to be in alignment to feel good, the moment you don't feel good, it's so easy and aware to see what's happening and to bring it back. And so when you just follow the energy where life is guiding and directing you, the universe, you and the universe, all pre-decided every single interaction, every single moment that's existing. You decided every single thing that you're going to be experiencing to allow your greatest and highest good and your greatest expansion. So as you follow the energy, it's really simple to see where when something gets cut off, it's like, oh, interesting. Well, what else could be possible? And so we go this way. So this reminds me of, I have so many, this is just life. This is how it works. So my life is an example of this. Yet to give you guys a specific, the last time I was actually here in Bali, I thought I'd be here for a whole other month than I was. I was like, and the place that I had was only available, wasn't available the last month because it was already pre-rented out at that time period. So it's actually this place that I'm at right now. Wow, I'm actually connecting the dots even more. This is the place I was like, cool, I'm gonna get that place that last month. It was actually August, I believe. And we came and we saw it was a requirement with these property guys that I work with that, you come and you see it and you definitely want it. And I was like, yes, oh my gosh, like guys, this place is like, I've got a hot tub on the outside deck. There's actually another bathtub in front of my deck, in front of my master. There's this gorgeous, garden area over here with a Buddha that I can meditate with. Oh my gosh. Not to mention I've got, you can see even the river down there. See, I've got all it is me and the river and nature, and I'm, a few minutes away from all my epicness. So perfect for me. And so I'm like, yes, I want the place. Well, they're like, all right, cool. Well, like the next day or 2 days later, he lets me know that the owner actually doesn't want to give me the place because he'd have to hold it and he would lose getting it rented out, etc. I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, well, what else is possible? And I told the guy, I was like, obviously, then, there's got to be something even greater for me. And we went and looked at a couple places and they just were not a fuck yes for me. They were not the highest vibration alignment that would totally support me. I was like, I said, what I'm feeling is that, either dude's going to change his mind and I'm going to get the place, or something greater gets to show up, but this isn't a yes for me, so we'll just sit with it. That night, I find out, so I was being called to go to Peru to work with the plant Noira, which is the tree of life. And I thought in my, how it all mapped out is I thought I'd probably be in Bali through October and then September, because I had my retreat that I was going to run in Peru, do the gathering of the grandmothers, have some integration time, and then do the tree of light. Well, it comes into my field as I connect with these people, as the energy guided me there. The people drop right into my field of awareness, etc. And it's like, no, the only opportunity for me to work with Noira is if I'm there by August 1st. Which was when I would have to be out of my place and into a different place. I was like, oh, well, of course, like no wonder this, that place, the place I was in had the cutoff wasn't available. This place actually was cut off, not available, and the universe led me to this. Now, as I'm in doing all my immersions over the last couple of months, I was in Peru, I was in Egypt, I was in Colombia, I had a couple retreats in those places, I had deep immersions for myself and activation experiences all through Egypt and in Peru. And it really dropped in. It was like after all this deep immersion work for myself, as well as the space that I hold and the energy that I, do as I work with a lot of people, it's going to be time for me to come back to a place I really am supported and ground in. And it was like instantly like it's going to be go back to Mama Bali. And because I had seen this place and gotten to see it in person and already been, pre-qualified for it, literally I messaged him and I'm like, hey, I'm looking at being back in Bali at this time. And this place normally is booked out in advance too. So here I was enough that the place was just going to become available, and I'm able to have this beautiful space for the next couple months that I'm here in Bali. And I get to do a group VIP experience out here, have a couple personal clients come out, and I'm just so supported. So that being an example of how, again, when you follow the energy, the universe is like, nope, not going this way. Like you're like, oh, now notice, interesting. Well, what else could be possible? What else could this look like? What else could I create? And so following the alignment of what feels good for me now, if I would have been like, okay, I got to find a place and grab something else, there would have been more suffering, more struggle. Now, if I would have, not listen to where I felt called to go. The other thing that happened there, as soon as I, everything dropped in, it's like, no, I get to go to Peru at this time in August. And then what dropped in was Egypt, 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 Egypt. Now I had just been offered to go with some dear friends through this whole activation experience, already pre-set up to Egypt. And Egypt has been in my field for a few years as I've studied the Kabbalion and many things, yet it wasn't like, go now. All of a sudden it was like, go now. And guess what? It was during October, which now opened up for me when I followed the energy to say, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Then I get to be here. So life will literally guide you and lead you. I have infinite, examples and experiences of how life just effortlessly takes care of all the details. If you're willing to just be present and slow down and listen to each step of the way, what gets to happen, so that you're guided and you're literally taken care of. So that's what I mean by you actually never have to make a decision. The universe will make the decision for you. The question is, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to follow the energy to your highest, and knowing that whatever you're experiencing is for your greatest benefit? You can never make a mistake. So I want you guys to take that in and tune into what areas of your life have you been shutting down on, meaning like, have you been blaming or shaming, or in yourself? Is there a lack of trust? When guess what? All these things get to open up for you what you get to practice, what you get to open up to, which is how can I trust myself and trust the universe and learn to go, align myself to actually what I'm being called for to. How can I trust my intuition, where I'm being called, what's dropping into my field, and start to notice, because everything's connected. Everything is that easy. When if we're putting out this vibration, what we want, the universe is already creating it. It's already setting it all up for you. One of the things that I say every single day to myself is, one of my mantras is that I joyfully serve the divine and humanity while floating in a constant state of bliss, while the universe and the divine effortlessly lines up all the details for all I desire and require. So it's like, I know and believe like everything's being lined up for me. So just realize, what are you putting out there? What are you focused on? What are you holding in your system or seeing things out of, versus like, oh, interesting, this showed up. What's this about? Okay, and this, and get curious about the energy and the things that are dropping into your field, and pay attention, because when you pay attention, you're just going to glide through life and it's all going to be set up for you. And it doesn't mean that you won't experience things that you're like, ooh, it means you're going to be like, thank you. This obviously came up in front of me for me as my greatest next gift I set up for myself, for me to feel into and evaluate and see what is here that gets to be healed and loved, that I can receive what's on the other side, because receiving, my friends, is always on the other side of resistance. I love you. I love you so much, so much, so much. I'm starting to sing a lot more because I activated my voice in Colombia. So you'll hear more of that too. I love you guys. Enjoy your day. And remembering that you can never make a mistake, and the universe has always got your back and will make all the decisions for you. I love you.